If you watched our first video, you would know my wife and I have taken on the task of collecting one of each Pokemon card. A task that has been so fun and rewarding, but also stressful in my wallet and my mind. I mean, how am I supposed to choose only one card for each Pokemon? When making this decision, instead of looking through a database of every card ever printed, I've been looking through our binder and paying attention to a part of the card many may neglect. I think one of the most awesome things Pokemon does is give credit to those amazing artists who design our favorite cards. And while we've definitely been collecting quite a few artists we like, the recent acquisition of one of my childhood grails has inspired me to look deeper into one particular artist, Kouki Saitou. If you can't tell, I was really trying my hardest to know how to pronounce that. I wanna put some respect on Saito-san's name. anyways, if I thought collecting one of each Pokemon would be too much money, man, collecting all of Saito's cards? That's only for the 1% on Wall Street. Have you ever heard of a Poncho Pikachu? Try all of them from him. Well, Saito has well over 500 cards and even more Pokemon products, including this amazing Pikachu Forest playmat. I'm only going to be able to touch upon a few of his masterpieces, so I recommend you look through your own collection and see if you have any of his amazing arts. Now, Kouki Saitou has been an artist for years, working on some popular manga and some video games maybe you've heard of. But as for Pokemon, he started in English with the super expensive sets that contain some of my favorite arts, those being Skyridge and Aquapolis. Now, I can't talk about these sets without mentioning the holy grail for many collectors out there, the hollow crystal-type Charizard from Skyridge. Famously the box topper for the set, and whose art is so iconic and awesome, but man, that price tag is crazy. At the time of writing the script, a PSA 10 goes for well over $35,000. Who knows, maybe years from now, it'll move up into the 6 digits. I mean, it's a cool card and all, but I prefer Saito's other early era Charizard. While my wife and I are trying to collect each of the current 1,025 Pokemon, and we have about 500 cards collected so far, we only have 12 from Saitou, and here they are. First up is my dream childhood Delta Species Charizard from Crystal Guardians. But maybe it's Cope. The layout and design of this Charizard, I think, is better than the Crystal type. It's the art I think of when I think of a Charizard card from my childhood. I don't know, let me know what you think. Sitting right next in the binder to my boy is another childhood card, the Squirtle he designed for Crystal Guardians. And man, this is like the perfect combo of cute and cool that I was all about as a kid. And I can tell after reading through the Pokemon card illustration collection book, a lot of the interviews talk about Saitou loving to draw these cute Pokemon. And I think he's just had a perfect balance of like, it's cool to use and it's so cute to look at. This Tauros comes from Pop Series 2, which were packs given to players back in the day, much like today's Play Series prize packs, something I'm glad Pokemon still does to support their players. This shiny Abra from Paldean Fates is cute, and reminds me of the time I hatched a shiny Abra from an egg in Pokemon Y. Even though I was sad at the time that it was an adamant nature, I thought it was such a cool surprise I hatched it in like under 13 eggs, because I was still trying to hatch for the nature for a competitive Alakazam. Next up is Togetic, or Togetic? Oh, I don't like that pronunciation at all. I hope that's not the correct way to pronounce it. Honestly, Togetic's not my favorite Pokemon design. I like Togepi and Togekiss a lot more. But man, Saitou makes this cool kinetic energy of it flying through some canyons that just, I don't know, it speaks to me. This summer, I got to receive the news that my favorite generation was going to receive an art rare for each of the Pokemon. And I was so hyped knowing they brought back some iconic artists to fill out these sets. And I was excited to see what Saitou was going to get to do. I mean, he got to do a fine Tornadus, I guess, and received the honor of being an ETB promo. But man, I don't know, it's not really that cool like the Charizard or that cute. It's not showing some kinetic energy and movement. It just kind of is. And maybe I'd like it more if it was the Therian form, but overall, man, I wish they let Saitou do a different Pokemon. Now, I know there's no official Pokemon card art awards minus, like the art award, minus the illustration contest, I guess. But Saitou might be on this very short list. I can Google this later, I assume. But as far as I'm aware, the Pokemon Kubfu only has one art, and Saito's the artist. So that means if you're collecting one of each Pokemon, you are guaranteed to have at least one card from him. So I think that's pretty cool, even though I think Kubfu could deserve another art or two. And as for our last 5 cards, they all come from the Galarian Gallery, where Kouki Saitou made 8 different card arts that came together to make a larger scene. In Japan, you could receive a god pack of sorts that had one of each card in here. But back here in the States, I'm fairly certain I got all of mine separately, don't quote me on that. And I actually own all 8, but I just have different arts I wanted for a lot of the Pokemon. So that's why we only have 5 here. Though I do think this mini set inside another mini set inside a set is very cute and definitely something worthy to be in your collection. If you remember our rules for our family binder, we're only collecting English cards. But man, Saitou has some awesome Japanese exclusive cards. I would love to add these cards to my collection one day. And I've had them scrolling through in this little segment here, so feel free to pause at any moment and take a closer look. And then if you're not too busy, you can send them on to me. Thank you so much. As for the English cards we may want to add to our binder, I can think of a few. Probably the cheapest of these would be the War Turtle Saitou drew for Crystal Guardians. He did the whole Squirtle line, and man, I love this War Turtle. War Turtle, I don't know what has been happening this past year, but he's been creeping up my favorite Pokemon list. And he might even be my favorite mid-stage of all the starters. But I think this art just perfectly shows off that spunk I picture War Turtle with. He's like a showboat, you know? He's you know. Gengar! The Gengar Bop. If you like Gengar, you know Gengar. Gengar. One of the most popular Pokemon of all time, and I do think Gengar is very cool. Gengar one more time. This Gengar from Legend Maker is so cool, and if I was thinking of like a vintage era or Gen 3 era holo, man, this Gengar is up there for me. Sabrina's Gengar would also be a great spot for this slot, and the XY full art that's been blowing up in price recently is up there for me. This Delta species for Alligator from Dragon Frontiers is so cool to me, and it feels like a must. I remember wanting this card as a kid, and I think it'd be such a cool addition to our binder, and it would fit right alongside the Yukimori Crocodile we already have. We already have a secret rare shiny Bagon in our binder already, but these secret rare shinies from Gen 4, the Bagon was not the first one I discovered. When I was researching Pokemon cards back in 2020, I came across these, and the first one I remember trying to bid for was a shiny Duskull by Saitou, and I think this Duskull from Stormfront looks great. The red on a Ghost mod, man, that is such a cool concept. My wife is a big Mew fan, and I mean really, who isn't? Mew is so cute and so deadly at the same time, and this XY era promo of Mew in front of a rainbow is way too cute for us not to own one day. If it's not in our binder, it will definitely be in my wife's binder. And that's all for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching our latest video, and I hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can follow our Last Resort Collects Instagram page to keep up with our family binder journey. And please, let us know, who are some of your favorite Pokemon artists? Interesting.